Okay, so when we're talking about the Arab-Israeli conflict, there's a couple concepts we need to keep in mind. One of those is called Zionism, okay? ISM, it's another ism. This is a way of thinking where they believe that there should be a Jewish homeland, okay? So this is a Jewish nationalist movement that its goal was to create and support a Jewish national state in Palestine, the ancient homeland of the Jews, okay? Palestine, again, is located right here along the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, so whoops, here's Africa, Europe. Keep zooming in here. We got Egypt. You have Jerusalem. Okay, and then there's the Gaza Strip right here, which is where a lot of these Palestinians were forcibly removed from their homes in Israel when Israel was created to make room for Jewish settlers. So a lot of these people were forced to move to the Gaza Strip. So there's a lot of fighting between these groups, and it's been going on for decades. But the root cause of the problem is the fact that they formed Israel in what used to be Palestine, and this became the Jewish homeland. But there was already people living there. Okay, now Israel is the nation state that was created out of this idea of Zionism for Jews. It was created in 1948 after World War II as a Jewish homeland, formed in response to the persecution during World War II. What they're referring to there is obviously the Holocaust. Now, I should note that the idea of Zionism is older than 1948. That didn't come along, during World War II. It actually goes back to World War One, where Bellflower, a legislative member in Britain, basically, promised the Jews after World War One that they would have a homeland because he saw that they were kind of being oppressed in the Ottoman Empire, which was a predominantly Muslim empire during World War One, and then obviously it collapsed after World War One. So there were promises made after World War One, and the ideas of Zionism were really birthed then. But Israel did not form until after World War II, and obviously with the Holocaust, there was a new measure of willingness of people throughout the world to really dedicate themselves to creating a homeland for the Jews. So the UN, which was created after World War II, they voted to create this country called Israel as a Jewish homeland. The emergence of the Israel as a Jewish state became a key political issue in the Middle East, okay, because you have lots of different cultures, lots of different religions. Arab nations refused to recognize this new state. They were already living there with their people, so how could, they be kicked out of their areas, for instance, and have to leave their homes, along the Mediterranean there and move to other areas because now it's a Jewish home state. So they felt really upset by this. They attacked Israel, but were defeated. As a result of the war, many Palestinian Arabs fled from Israel and became refugees living in the Arab lands. So they moved to Egypt, they moved to Syria, they moved to Jordan. Wars erupted again in 1956, 67, 73, with Israel the victor each time. So each time the Arabs try to take down Israel and they fail. A lot of the reason for that is because Israel was supported by the United States and other powerful countries. In 1967 war, Israel seized the Gaza Strip and the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt and the West Bank from Jordan and the Golan Heights from Syria. So Israel actually is taking more lands from other countries because they have a far superior military because it's funded and supported with the US and European help.